really hard to say who has the most power. It's some very powerful entities out here.
New tonight, stand-up comic Katt Williams has had a controversial visit to Seattle the past few days, and tonight he's telling us his side of the story.
Now, I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another.
And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their club.
It appears Ice Cube just dropped a bombshell warning for Katt Williams, and it's about none other than Oprah herself.
And I won't take no for an answer. It's ridiculous. You don't even play in our league.
In a shocking twist, Ice Cube claims that Katt's life could be in serious danger, allegedly targeted by Hollywood's most powerful names.
And he said even Oprah Winfrey didn't want to have me on. You know, when you're trying to promote your big three, you're trying to build your business and all this other stuff.
With Katt Williams known for fearlessly exposing the industry's darkest secrets, has he crossed a line with the wrong people? Could Oprah really be pulling strings behind the scenes to silence him for good? Stick around because this Hollywood conspiracy is about to take a deadly turn.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Katt Williams, the legendary comedian known for his fearless comedy, his controversial antics, and his uncanny ability to find himself in the craziest situations, has been laying low lately. But rumors started swirling that he's been talking about some heavy-duty conspiracy theories. And we're not talking about light stuff here. Apparently, he's claiming that powerful people, some big-time media moguls, are trying to silence him. And you guessed it, Oprah is allegedly at the top of this list. But here's where it gets even weirder. Ice Cube, the rap legend turned actor, steps into the scene. Out of nowhere, he starts sending out warnings about Katt's safety.
At this point of being in this business this long, Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame, you name it, you got all of them, right? Who has the most power in the entertainment industry?
Ice Cube has been speaking up more and more about the entertainment industry, and now he's voicing concerns about his friend Katt being targeted. He's claiming that powerful figures don't want Katt around because he knows too much and talks too much. Ice Cube's been around long enough to know the ins and outs, the secrets, and most importantly, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. And he's saying that Katt's in danger. It sounds like the plot of a blockbuster thriller, but this is real life, folks. Or at least it seems to be. And the Oprah connection? Here's where the internet lost it. According to Ice Cube, Katt has allegedly been targeted by Oprah's inner circle for knowing things he shouldn't and speaking out.
Oprah is obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
Now, Oprah has a reputation for being a media queen, not a villain, but fans are wondering if this powerful woman could actually be part of a Hollywood machine that silences voices it doesn't like. Some are even saying Oprah is trying to ruin Katt Williams' career, and maybe even his life. But why? What does she, or her so-called inner circle, have to gain from keeping Katt quiet? People are going wild with theories, speculating that it's not just Katt, but a whole list of celebrities who've been warned or silenced. Now, could this all be one big conspiracy theory? Absolutely, but Ice Cube isn't backing down.
I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are.
He's warning Katt, and he's warning us, that the stakes are higher than we think. He's calling out these power players, saying they'll do anything to protect their empire, even if it means taking out those who stand in their way. Recently, Shannon Sharpe's podcast, Club Shay Shay, has also been blowing up like crazy ever since that interview with Katt Williams. And that's because this interview has spilled a ton of secrets about some of the industry's biggest names like Oprah.
Oprah coming next.
But now it seems like they are really going after by canceling his show, all because they were exposed there by Katt.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Well, Oprah's been through her fair share of controversies, accusations of smear campaigns against critics, sabotaging careers, and even some really disturbing claims.
Oprah legitimized the notorious criminal Joe Teixeira aka John of God, as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer.
Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey opened up a boarding school in South Africa called the Leadership Academy for Girls, all inspired by Nelson Mandela. Even though the South African government wasn't thrilled about it, mostly because of the high costs in a struggling area, the school kicked off with some seriously fancy amenities, like salons and a gem room, which definitely raised a few eyebrows. Over the years, there have been some scandals surrounding the school, but all those conspiracy theories about Oprah, they don't really have any solid proof to back them up.
Oprah, look up, man.
Oprah actually handpicked 152 students to attend her school, but it didn't take long for things to go south. One of the employees, a 27-year-old named Virginia, was charged with acting inappropriately with at least 6 students aged 13 to 15. These were the same girls Oprah chose to live at the academy, and one of the staff members responsible for their care ended up crossing some serious boundaries. It's shocking to think that while Oprah was trying to give these girls a better life, someone on the inside was harming them in ways that should never happen. The Times, a Johannesburg newspaper, wrote in an editorial, "The A scandal that has rocked Oprah Winfrey's South African School for Girls does not reflect badly on the famous talk show host. It reflects badly on this nation, and it should not be surprising that it manifested itself in Oprah's school. Oprah should not be condemned for allegations made against this matron. She should be praised for her decision to aggressively deal with it." This incident was a major black mark for South Africa, especially considering the country's history with kids being harmed by school employees. It's really troubling that Oprah put these students in danger by hiring someone like Virginia. As soon as the news broke, Oprah jumped into action. She flew to South Africa with a team of investigators to figure out exactly what had happened at the academy.
Students of the 152 accepted students by Oprah to attend the institution, laying accusations on the dorm matron Virginia Tinley Mascabo.
Good thing Oprah went to the school herself to investigate, especially with her name all over the mess. But guess what? That employee, Virginia, ended up being cleared of all charges. Classic justice system, right? And if that wasn't wild enough, Virginia even tried to sue Oprah for defamation after being found innocent. Talk about bold. But that was just the start of the drama. Less than 2 years later, things got messy again when some students got into physical fights. One 15-year-old even tried to pressure the victims to keep quiet and not say anything to their parents or investigators. In the end, 7 students were suspended for intimidating others and acting inappropriately. Seems like trouble just kept following that school around. One letter sent to the parents of a suspended girl reportedly said she was found guilty of physical contact of a nature with another pupil on campus, harassment, bullying other girls on campus, and being dishonest by not telling investigators the whole truth. People were really puzzled about even if Oprah visited the school less than a year ago to sort things out, yet issues like this keep popping up. How does a 15-year-old even get away with pressuring classmates into keeping quiet and lying to officials about it? But less than 2 years after that second scandal, cops found a dead newborn at Oprah's school in South Africa. One of her hand-picked students, who hasn't been named, gave birth there and instead of getting help, reportedly stuffed the baby in her backpack. She later ended up in the hospital for bleeding, likely from giving birth at the school. It's such a sad and messed up situation. While Oprah can't control every aspect of her students' lives, she definitely has a say in who she associates with. And if you think of this, it has been reported that young people were T in Diddy's alleged freak-off, due to which he has also been arrested. So maybe Oprah was the supplier? Because people getting disappeared from school and present in Diddy's freak-offs may give some clue. But that's just like the tip of the iceberg of her alleged crimes. A lot of folks are saying she's been known to exploit and blackball those trying to make it in the industry. And it seems like Cindy Crawford could be one of the first potential victims caught up in this mess. Her initial encounter with Oprah was a far cry from the more polished vibe of her 2013 appearance on Oprah's Master Class. But looking back, Crawford's warm feelings toward Winfrey aren't as straightforward as they seem. Even after making 10 appearances on Oprah, she's realized that her first introduction to the show was anything but cozy, especially in today's context. It's like she's been doing some serious soul-searching about how Winfrey's actions might come across now. There's a sense that there might still be some lingering issues between Crawford and Winfrey.
Show us why you're worthy of being here. In the moment, I didn't recognize it. Only when I look back at it and I was like, oh my gosh, that was was so not okay, really.
In the pilot episode of The Supermodels, Cindy Crawford got real about her first time on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and wow, it was a lot. She was only 20 years old when she showed up with her manager, John Casablancas, and the whole thing felt more exploitative than supportive. Oprah, who was still pretty new to hosting back in 1986, barely even acknowledged Cindy. Instead, she kept throwing questions at Casablancas like, did you have to G her? Has she always had this body? Like, seriously? And if that wasn't awkward enough, Oprah then asked Cindy to stand up and show off her body to the audience.
I was like the chattel or a child, like be seen and not heard. When you look at it through today's eyes, when Oprah's like, stand up and show me your body.
Cindy Crawford opened up about how that whole Oprah interview made her feel, and yikes, it's rough. She said it made her feel like chattel or a child, basically being told to just look pretty and stay quiet. The wildest part? Oprah, who's supposed to be all about empowering women, put Cindy in such a degrading spot. I was so traumatized, I really felt I wasn't seen as a person who had a voice in her own destiny, Cindy admitted. And honestly, it's hard not to feel for her. Looking back, she realized how messed up the whole thing was. And here's the kicker. After Cindy called it out, the interview mysteriously disappeared from YouTube. It really seems like Oprah's trying to pretend it never happened. But Cindy speaking up sparked a lot of reactions. One person commented, what she says and what she does are two different things. She claims she cares, but she lies. The fact that she was so evil to Monique, her behavior towards the poor people of Lahaina was horrible. Her friendship with Harvey Weinstein, etc. Oprah is not a nice person. Even Oprah's BFF Gayle King chimed in, saying she was shocked and a bit disappointed. Gayle said, I'm surprised and a little disappointed. Cindy's been on the show many times, and it's always been great. I'd hate to think something from so long ago bothered her this much. It's not in Oprah's nature to humiliate or hurt anyone. Cindy Crawford isn't the only one who's felt overshadowed by Oprah. You'd think after all these years in the industry, Oprah would know how to create a supportive vibe for other artists. But nope, it seems like she's still rubbing people the wrong way. Now, rumors are swirling that Taraji P. Henson had a similar experience during the press tour for the Color Purple musical film. Fans are buzzing about a possible feud between Oprah and Taraji after a video from the tour went viral, with people dissecting every little bit of their body language for signs of tension. Whether it's awkward glances or subtle shade, viewers seem convinced something's up. On the surface, it looks like Taraji and Oprah have nothing but love and respect for each other. But let's be honest, it feels a little more complicated than that. Yeah, Taraji's K-ing it as an actress, with roles like Cookie Lion in Empire, and she's made serious moves in Hollywood, especially when it comes to pushing for pay equity and better opportunities for Black women. But let's keep it real. She's not exactly on Oprah's level when it comes to influence. Oprah's a media powerhouse with a platform that can shift the culture, and you can't help but wonder if Taraji's feeling that pressure. With all the recent rumors flying around, it kind of seems like Taraji's walking on eggshells, trying to keep things cool while managing whatever tension might be simmering under the surface. Oprah's definitely been a mentor figure for her, but in a town like Hollywood, where everything's a high-stakes game, there's probably more going on than what they're showing. Oprah's been deep in the mix as an executive producer for the Color Purple musical film. And while she's always hyping up Taraji's talent, there's this sneaky feeling that Taraji's playing it safe to keep things smooth. She's come out and defended Oprah against any gossip about tension. But let's be real, if the pressure gets too crazy, you gotta wonder if Taraji might eventually spill the tea on what's really going down behind the scenes. It's definitely a tricky spot. Taraji deserves her own spotlight, but Oprah's influence is so huge that it's hard not to get overshadowed. Fans can't help but feel frustrated thinking Taraji might be holding back or sugarcoating her true experience just to keep the peace. One person on the internet wrote, "What is Oprah's issue with other Black women in the industry? Toni Braxton, Monique, and now Taraji P. Henson. It seems like she doesn't want her sisters to succeed. Why, Oprah? That's unkind and hateful. Perhaps that's why she hasn't established any schools or economic opportunities for Black women in America. Just saying." The world sees two powerhouse women, Taraji and Oprah, teaming up, but it feels like there's some unspoken tension bubbling just under the surface. If Taraji ever decides to speak her truth, it could be a bombshell, shedding light on the real pressures of working with someone as influential as Oprah. And let's not forget, this wouldn't be the first time Oprah's involvement with another star stirred controversy. Just look at Toni Braxton. In her VH1 Behind the Music interview, Toni got real about her financial struggles and how bankruptcy hit her career hard. But things took a rough turn when she appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Toni expected a conversation about her finances, but Oprah hit her with some unexpectedly harsh questions that left her blindsided. It was a tough moment for Toni, adding to the stress she was already carrying. And it's a reminder of just how intense things can get when Oprah's in the mix.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
Toni didn't hold back when she reflected on what she saw as Oprah's rudeness, saying, "She was so frickin' mean to me. I was in shock." Before the interview, Toni had always spoken highly of Oprah, so she was totally blindsided by how critical Oprah turned out to be. "I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her, and she pretty much reprimanded me," Toni recalled. But it didn't stop there. Toni shared that Oprah's disapproval cut even deeper, recalling how Oprah made comments like, "I've heard you have Gucci flatware, whereas I, Oprah Winfrey, do not own Gucci flatware," all while gesturing with her thumb and forefinger close together. That remark really left Toni feeling small and diminished, highlighting just how intense and unexpected their interaction was.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big.
It really seems like blackballing artists is just a walk in the park for Oprah. She's faced some serious allegations of hypocrisy and enabling behavior from high-profile figures like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. On the other hand, Katt Williams also expressed the sentiment that when you're a billionaire, you can essentially do as you please. This perspective suggests that Oprah's influence may transcend her identity as a Black woman, and people are beginning to acknowledge and question this aspect of her power. Although the mystery continues when Oprah was linked to a Brazilian self-proclaimed medium and convicted felon named John of God. After years of operating a spiritual healing center in Brazil, John was arrested and given a 63-year prison sentence for assaulting multiple women. However, Winfrey claimed to have had a deep experience during her talk with John when he appeared on her show and traveled to Brazil to meet him before his arrest.
This is an interview I wasn't sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera.
Moreover, Oprah has also links with Tyler Perry and Steve Harvey, who have, according to him, played a significant role in his downfall. Katt Williams' revelations about his former idol, Oprah Winfrey, may come as a surprise to some. However, the shock deepens as he goes on to claim that Steve Harvey, another beloved figure, has allegedly made a deal involving his soul with Hollywood. Williams' assertions raise questions about the entertainment industry and the potential hidden agreements or compromises made by prominent figures within it. Certainly, Katt Williams is widely acknowledged as one of the most hilarious comedians of his generation, celebrated for his raw humor and captivating performances in popular stand-up specials. Despite his talent and recognition among the comedy elite in Hollywood, Williams hasn't achieved the same widespread exposure as some of his counterparts. A supporter pointed out, unlike Kevin Hart, he hasn't taken on leading roles in big-budget movies, and he doesn't host a show like Steve Harvey. Expressing a sense of hopelessness, Williams once declared, "I'm officially announcing my retirement from stand-up. I'm kind of done. I've already discussed it with my kids. I wasn't planning to make this announcement on a Seattle street. I was going to Los Angeles to do it in the offices of ICM or Live Nation." Rumors have circulated suggesting that Williams may have been blacklisted from the industry, prompting inquiries into why he hasn't achieved the same level of success as figures like Steve Harvey. But it might be another attempt by Hollywood elites to blacklist him. Katt Williams, who's been labeled crazy himself for calling out this system, said it best. They don't want you to know what's really going on. They want you to believe their version of events.
In 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets.
And the industry version is that Dave Chappelle just lost his mind one day and walked away from millions. But the truth? It's far more disturbing.
Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Dave was fighting for his life, his sanity, his identity, while Oprah and her cronies were pulling the strings. Katt has been telling us for years that Hollywood is rotten to its core, and now we're starting to see the pieces come together. Oprah is not who she seems to be, and the fact that she's been able to maintain her spotless image for so long only proves how deep her ties to the elite go. We all know how the world of Hollywood has a dark side that rarely gets exposed, and when it does, those who dare to speak out often pay the price. We've seen it before. Celebrities who get too close to the truth, who stand up against the system, suddenly find themselves blacklisted or silenced. And that's what happened to Dave Chappelle exactly.
So much money, how could you do that, and blah, blah, blah. But if I had taken that money and finished the show, I would have got the money, but I might never have been the same.
If you remember, Dave was on top of the world with Chappelle's show, but behind the scenes, there was a battle brewing. Hollywood wasn't just about money and fame. It was about control, and Dave wasn't willing to play by their rules. When Comedy Central offered him $50 million for another season, they didn't just want his comedy. They wanted his voice, his creative freedom, but Dave saw through it all. He refused to let his art become a commodity, and when he refused to bow to their demands, they didn't take it lightly. Chappelle spoke about this lack of freedom of speech in an interview and said, "Art is a powerful commodity. An artist, if you're good at it, should never behave as a commodity." My biggest gripe with this whole controversy with The Closer is that you cannot report on an artist's work and remove artistic nuance from his words. It would be like if you were reading a newspaper and they say, "Man shot in the face by a 6-foot rabbit expected to survive," and they never tell you it's a Bugs Bunny cartoon. The network didn't just walk away. They tried to break him. They refused to pay him what he was owed, then used their power to smear his name.
People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid.
In addition to his previous revelations, Williams exposed the existence of a secret society called the Illuminati, which he claimed faces significant opposition from within the Black community. The implication here is that The Guardian, by indirectly corroborating his claims and revealing the society's name and some of its prominent members, has lent credence to his assertions about this secretive organization. He said, "It is the most elite club in the world. This is the Good Club, the name given to the tiny global elite of billionaire philanthropists. The names of some of the members are familiar figures: Bill Gates, George Soros, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, David Rockefeller, and Ted Turner. But there are others too, like business giants Eli and Edith Broad, who are equally wealthy but less well known." Fans also totally believed in Katt's claims, as one of them commented, "The industry is wicked to the death." So, is Katt Williams really in danger? Is Oprah actually involved in some sort of Hollywood conspiracy to silence outspoken celebrities? Ice Cube seems to think so. And in Hollywood, where secrets run deep and power games get dark, who knows what the truth really is? One thing's for sure, Katt Williams might need to watch his back, and we'll be keeping an eye on this wild, unfolding drama. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.